one of London's biggest names in the rap scene. At the time, AJ was just bubbling. So this is a very special interview for me. If you're just tuning in and this is the first time you've listened to any of these, this is not a podcast, but it kind of is a podcast. And I'm kind of just like throwing back, listening to some of my old interviews and recapping on some of my favorite parts of them, what happened since, maybe funny things they said, a little bit of backstory. So I am, definitely someone that has had an incredible run of interviews in my career. So whether it's UK, US, trap, drill, grime, UK rap, R&B. I've done a lot of a dancehall, bashment, Afrobeats. I've interacted with a lot of the best musicians from those scenes, and I feel very privileged to have had the career I have. Now, someone that I was lucky enough to interview very early on in his career as well is AJ Tracey, who today honestly stands as one of the biggest names in the rap scene in the UK. He's almost like a mythical legend. You don't even see him anymore. But he's definitely someone that I'm glad to see that the climb he's had, the career he's had, the lengths that he's kind of gone to in his career, especially because, at the time, I think Stormzy was already becoming a major name. And I think today you could definitely say AJ is standing alongside Stormzy. This interview was actually done, it's a bit controversial actually. I was on Rinse at the time doing the interview for Rinse, but I actually did the interview in the Radar Studios because that's where AJ was. I didn't use their mics or anything. I didn't do some snaky stuff, but I took my little mic down, and because he was there, I did an interview with him there, with actually Big Zoo and Jevin there. So it's funny, I actually met them for the first time that day, and they are, good friends, and I believe even family of AJ. So that was a great moment to interact with them as well. One of my favourite parts of this interview was basically we were doing an interview sitting on a sofa with me kind of holding a mic, but it looked like we were just chatting. And about halfway through, this random guy just walks over to us and is like, "Oh, have you seen John?" And we're both like, "No, we don't know who John is." Maybe the guy's name wasn't John, but he kind of interrupts us to ask a random question, but obviously has no idea that we're doing an interview that's being recorded. So, and we're both just looking at him dude, fuck off. But it was just quite a funny moment because we were both just kind of fully into the chat, and then just had a very mundane moment in the middle of it. And that does happen quite a lot when you're doing interviews when you're not being guarded. Sometimes it's good to have someone standing around just making sure no one walks into your interview. So just a little bit of advice if you are doing interviews. But yeah, AJ I think is someone that he's just a very even in this interview he's very open, very honest. He was very down to earth, very chill, very funny. He did tell me my shoes were hard, but then we also did speak at length about why Mandem can wear Uggs. That's a direct quote from him. So if you are insecure about your Ugg wearing, guys, don't worry, AJ says it's fine. I got a little bit of kind of not exactly juicy stories out of him, but I did enjoy hearing about him stealing a beat from Stormzy. So there are a few little kind of gems in there like that. So why not take a listen and find out what beat it was, Just my advice to you. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this one with the one and only AJ Tracey, live and direct. So hello and welcome to the Lily Mercer Show. I'm here with AJ Tracey.
Thanks for having me. Well gone.
Happy kind of birthday for your, EP. It's kind of a newborn baby.
It is still. It actually is. Thank you very much. I'm proud of it.
You should be. It's definitely a baby you should be proud of.
It's a healthy weight still.
That's true. And it's a Sagittarius like me, so it's clearly going to have a great future. But I wanted to ask, what's been the most random feedback you've got so far?
Someone was like, "Oh, this tape sounds like you just listened to Juicy J or something and tried to copy his sound." And I was just thinking, well, I'm actually a Juicy J fan, and you clearly have never heard Juicy J because which one of my tunes sounds like? And then they were saying, "Oh, Pastor, all right, cool. It sounds a bit more southern, but still wouldn't say Juicy J, man. That's like."
Also, of all the sounds, Juicy J, that's a random one.
Very random, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very random. But yeah.
I mean, that is quite cool feedback though, at least if you're a fan.
It's random, isn't it?
Yeah, super random. Yeah. I also, on my show, basically I said that
These are hard.
Thank you. They're covered in mud. I was walking my dog in them.
They're harder.
I know. Thank you. They're seasonal, goes with the coat.
Shower.
So when we restart, I feel like we should have a featuring him.
I like. You just wandered through what?
That was jokes. I should have been more But yeah, but I wanted to ask about, so basically I said that you lied to people with the title of the EP because you're not little at all.
It's true. That's what bare people said that to me still.
Because you're 6 foot, I think.
Yeah. It's more about my transition from when I was little to now, do you get me? So it's me saying the way I used to think and the way I used to make music and the topics I speak about are kind of different from now. Do you get me? I used to just talk about like obviously trapping and this and that, and I still occasionally reference it, but that's not the main topic of my music. Do you get what I'm saying? So yeah, I think it was more about that still. But then someone was like to me, "Oh, don't defend yourself. Little Herb's like 6'2" as well." And I was like, "Yeah, you're right. Still,
yeah,
you're actually right."
He changed his name to G Herbo.
He did. That's a hard name as well. G Herbo's cold still.
It's true, and also he released an EP in my birthday too. So thank
Yeah,
you both.
I rate that. Yeah.
And it's pretty much the only 2 projects I've been listening to recently.
Yeah,
actually,
I love that. I love that. That's love still.
It's great, and I do think so with the EP. I'm not saying that you're lying. I kind of picked up on it
Yeah.
with the cover art as well. You know, you kind of got a little you looking up
Yeah,
at
yeah.
what seems to be like some of your favourite things,
It's
or
like
like things you reference.
It's meant to be like everything I've done, like my key achievements from when I was little to now, kind of thing. So yeah, man. There's some that everyone's like a bit confused about, which I'm not gonna reveal. I'm not gonna reveal. You have to use your mind, like, but there's a couple there that are a bit confusing still.
I mean, has your grandma seen the EP cover yet?
No.
I'm curious to know what she thinks of it.
She hasn't, and when she sees it, I'll probably get a slap for something. For that girl on the front, I'll probably get a slap or something.
Oh, it's cute. But I mean, just, you know, the fact that she kind of doesn't understand the fact that you do music as well. It's like
she doesn't get anything, literally. She thinks like it's a waste of time. She doesn't even care about the money. Money's irrelevant. She just cares about like, is it like education? Like, you know, is it I don't even know what the word is. Like, is it one of them paths like doctors?
Like an academic.
Yeah, academic. There you go.
Yeah.
I was lost for the word. Academic. If it's not, then she doesn't really care about it. Do you get me?
I mean, it has the potential to be. If you know, you could end up, you know, teaching about
You
lyrics
get me?
in schools.
You never know, innit? You never know.
There's a 2-pack degree now. So
Is there actually?
There is.
That's hard.
You have to go to America, I think
That's hard.
California.
Yeah, that's hard. That is hard.
That's
You
true.
learn something new every day, innit?
There's one of the things I wanted to ask you about as well, because I feel like, you know, there's this whole thing about kind of grime having a renaissance, and like one, I wanted to ask you how you feel about that concept, and even like, you know, some people are kind of turned off by the whole label of that, because it's kind of, grime didn't die, and it's not come back to life. So how do you feel about the kind of the way that people view this kind of?
Yeah, that's a good question still. I always see that like, thrown around everywhere. Yeah. I don't think grime ever died. For me personally, it didn't, definitely. Like, I was banging grime from when I was old enough to know what grime is until now. Do you get me? I think people stopped putting as much effort into it and maybe taking as much notice, but I don't think it died ever. Like, it's always been there, just maybe people didn't know about it. So I feel like people need to stop saying that kind of thing, because it makes it sound like it gives a lot of power to like Americans. It makes it sound like the Americans just come and jumped on our thing and now it's like alive again, but that's definitely not what happened at all. Like people like Skepta have put in bare hard work, you get me? People like JME, P Money's been smashing out grime from what age, you get me? So like, man, need to put some respect on their names. But yeah, I don't really like that. I don't like the term new wave either. So, some of them things there, it's just like, I'm not involved in any of that.
Because there's the picture of you
crossing out. You've seen that?
Which is
I
kind of
read
a bit like a prophecy in a
yeah.
way. Yeah,
Trust me, I was not.
Kind of crazy.
I wasn't having that still. I was like, no, I'm not no new wave, bro. Put my name on the thing on the flyer, bro. Do you get me? But now my name's up there. Trust me, so it's cool.
No, but that's the thing. Because I feel it's interesting you brought up the hip hop side of it. Because I feel like if you look at grime's kind of almost 20 years, I feel, against like hip hop's had like what 40, 50 years.
Of course.
It feels like hip hop has had more of an evolution in sound. Do you know what I mean?
Grime
has kind of stayed very true to what the original sound was.
That's exactly what I'm trying to break.
Yeah.
That is specifically what I'm trying to break. Like, there was a tweet the other day from Spooky saying, Spooky was like, oh, all the youngers in grime, they just care about like brands and numbers and premieres, yeah. Alright, I'm not gonna lie, yeah, I care about them things, yeah. But it's a thing where like, the way them lot grew up with grime and the way we grew up is different, innit? So we've seen what everyone else has done and we're trying to do our thing, do you get me? This is my version, you don't have to take it, but that's what I'm giving you, and obviously like, a lot of people like it, do you get me? Things that like excite me might not excite the olders, and that's fine. We don't have to like have the same interests, you get me? But people just need to like push. I feel like the olders should uplift the youngers rather than saying like, oh, why did they do it like this? Like, because, you know what I'm saying? Because that's how we do it, so just take us in, innit?
It's true.
Yeah, man.
And that's the thing, it's like, it's got to kind of have an evolution in sound. Even like, especially, I know that the olders did grow up listening to hip-hop too, but you grew up listening to a different kind of hip-hop.
Of course.
And even like, you know, the way you've rapped on like different beats, like drill beats, you know, you've rapped on stuff that isn't exactly, you know, a grime
Traditional
sound.
grime
yeah,
sounds,
exactly.
yeah.
You kind of play with it more and a bit more experimental.
That annoys people a lot, I think. I think people don't like that. When I spit on drill beats, people are like, oh, why is this guy using our sacred grime lyrics on... No, man, I'll actually do what I want still. But you know what it is, yeah? It's like, me personally, I've had a mad upbringing, innit? Like, my whole family's musical. And like, I listen to... The things I listen to, you'd be surprised still. Like, my little brother only likes old school boom bap, you get me? So like New York Queen stuff, that's all he listens to. So if I catch him listening to anything new, it means that he proper rates it because he doesn't like anything new in it. Like my dad, obviously, he used to be a rapper, a boom bap rapper, so that's what he listens to as well, Mobb Deep and Nas, blah, blah, blah. My mum, she used to listen to NWA and that and spin it on the radio, but she used to play a lot of like jungle and house and like UK garage, so like I grew up on a white estate as well, innit? So obviously everyone was banging out garage. So that kind of was, the garage bit helped me get into grime a bit. And then obviously the old school rap influences helped me keep like a nice flow, do you get me? And then other bits, I used to listen to rock in school. Like everyone used to be like, oh, why is this black kid listening to rock, do you get me? Like, but I just liked it, innit? I just liked like the chords and that. I just liked it, innit? I still listen to it. I got Tutu, Linkin Park and 30 Seconds to Mars and a little bit AC/DC and that, do you get me? So all of those things combined just mean like, when I do grime, because grime's what I love, I just try and put my twang on it, do you get me? So.
I think you always get the most interesting artists that listen to music like that, though. Like people that listen to such a wide mix of things,
That's
you kind of get this weird kind of collage.
It's actually true. Everyone that I listen to, like the artists I listen to now, when I hear about who like inspired them, it doesn't even surprise me because like, oh, that's why your music sounds like that. Yeah, like, I listen to bare Lil Uzi and like he actually influences me a lot. And when I heard he grew up on rock, it made sense. Like I heard it, I was like, yeah, it actually makes sense still.
Because he is a rock star, he's not a rap star.
He's actually a rock star. He's actually a rock star still. A lot of people want to be rock stars. I think I'm en route there, but I'm not quite. I've seen what he does, like jumps into crowds, and I'm not on that still. That is not still. I'm not on that. But yeah, trust me, it's a lifestyle, and it's different. It's just some people don't understand it. Yeah, some people don't understand like. When I go to do a show, the energy I give the crowd is what the energy that I get back. So I'm always giving them bare energy. People say to me, oh, why are you trying so hard? Like, bro, like you're meant to enjoy it. It's an immersive experience, you get me? You're not meant to just go and just say the lyrics over your dub, then like they could just play the dub in the dance, you get me?
That's true.
Yeah, man. Some people just don't get it in it and they won't, so that's it.
Are you excited to go on tour?
Very, very excited. I'm gonna do a madness on that tour. I'm gonna do crazy things. And bear in mind, like US friends are over like during the tour, innit? So I'm gonna see if I can do some secret stuff.
Yeah, because it's exciting. You said you got some collabs coming out that we can't know about yet.
I proper want to tell you, but it's just like it's
you can
so.
Tell me when this starts recording.
Alright, cool. I will. I'll tell you after still. But yeah, they're sick. They're so sick. Like one of them, I'm going to meet tomorrow. He's in London. We're gonna film a video.
Sick.
So yeah, bro. I'm just trying to be like. I don't know why people like. I don't know, but the olders and the people who have exposure for the UK, I don't know why they don't bridge the gap more. Because you don't have to be a beg and just pay for a feature. You can just chat to them and see if they feel your vibe. If they do, they do. You can work. If they don't, you get me? Like me and Remy Banks, like he genuinely, his DJ opened his shows with my tune Nyla, but before I even knew who he was. So when he met me, he was like, "Raw, I opened my show with your tune," and I was like, "What tune? What? You're from New York? What do you mean you opened your show? Do you get me?" And then I started chatting to Remy, and then we just vibes, and it was natural. It can be natural. But a lot of a lot of English people think if they do tunes with American artists, they're begging it. You don't have to be a beg. Because Americans are so happy to come over here and you get me, do it with our stuff. So I don't see why we can't use their stuff, innit?
Also, it depends. Like one of my favourite collabs was Skepta and Wiki.
Yeah, that was hard.
That was like
that's hard. Wiki's hard.
It wasn't going to lift either of them up
necessarily.
It was
it's
like
just a normal, exactly. And they just dig each other's vibe kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. I did something with Wiki still.
Wiki's sick.
Yeah, he's sick, man.
I wanted to ask about, now you've said about your mum as well, like the garage sound as well, because I feel that comes through on the EP.
Yeah.
You can hear that on some of the
Trey Mission's productions are very like garagey, innit? So when I heard them, I was like, yo, I fucks with that still.
Especially like Luke Cage and Pasta, I think, specifically.
You know Pasta, yeah? Pasta's mad, because imagine this. No one knows this. This is the first time I said this, innit? But since it dropped, so I got like some of the figures back. First couple of days, basically, it sold double in America than it did here, which is very random because I have all my fan base here. So like that proved that what I was trying to do obviously worked. So when people like to be, oh yeah, American this and that, alright, cool. But the aim of it was to open the Americans up to listen to my sound.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's one track out of 6 on the EP that sounds a bit US influenced. Like, alright, cool, give me a break, bro. Like, do you get me? It drew them in, and it obviously worked. To sell like double the amount in America is mad. I was confused. I was looking at the numbers like, you sure this is right, fam? Like,
that is
crazy. Crazy.
But it's a sound that I feel they can tap into easily.
Yeah, it's easy for them to absorb. And then maybe they'll like listen to the other tracks and be like, oh, you know what, I actually like this sound. They might not, but if they do, then it's sick, innit?
It's true.
Yeah, man.
And how did you, like, I mean, production-wise, there's a mix of producers. You got obviously FaZe from, you know, UK.
Yeah.
You got Trey Mission, who's Canadian as well, you know.
He lives in my ends now still.
Is he? So he's local.
He's local still.
Like, did you think of the sound that you wanted before they sent you the beats?
It was mad, 'cause I had like 26 tracks to choose from, and I was going to take 6 and put them on my EP, yeah. I knew Buster Cannon was definitely going to be on there, because that's like the second part of Spirit Bomb. That's like the continuation, innit? So that had to be there. I like having like a theme throughout my EPs, you get me? So that was certainly there, and then like Trey Mission just sent me a folder of beats, and I was like, yo, some of these are just mental. I was like, I'll have that. I was like shopping. I was like, I'll have that one. I want that one. And then imagine like the, what one was it? It was Buster Cannon actually. I was like, let me get this beat, yeah? He gave it to me, and literally he sent me a screenshot 5 minutes later of Stormzy messaging him like, yo, let me get that beat. And he's like, yo, AJ just took it, innit? And I was like, yeah, boom, that's me still. That would have been a monster with Stormzy on it still, but yeah, I got lucky with that. And then Luke Cage, it just grabbed me, innit? It just like, the beat actually like took me in, and I was like, raw, this is kind of heavy still. And I wanted to, it was the right kind of beat for me to say like a bit of a political message, you get me? So I thought, yeah, I think I'll go with that, give it a try, and people liked it, so it's good, yeah.
And it's your third EP as well, so you've had like the front and Alex Moran as well. So how did you approach this one differently? Like, is third a harder one?
Yeah, it's hard because basically you want to put something out that's as good as the last two. Because my first one, everyone thinks is a classic, innit? I don't even really like it that much. I'll be honest with you. It's alright, and it's alright, but I could go way harder. It was just at the time, like, I had a bad quality studio. I was recording in my bedroom. It was literally a trap house I was recording in. It was horrible. Like, I was recording in there. Like, the mix down was non-existent. It wasn't mastered. You get me? Like, I just did what I could, and people really liked it. And then, like, the second EP, I was like, okay, I got a bit of money now. Let's go to some studios. Still wasn't amazing, but it was okay. And now this one, I was like, okay, I've got all the facilities now. Let me try and give them like something that's actually going to blow their minds, you get me? So the quality on this one's much better. I had to think about trying to be versatile because other ones are just straight grime, everything's grime. So I thought, let me give them a little bit of a taste of what I might go and do. So like Pasta eases them into that sound so that they won't be shocked if I do something else like, oh, I've heard that before. Not just like, whoa, like he's just jumping ship now that he got big, he's just trying to be a US. It's not that. I just want to show a man I can do other sounds, you get me? But yeah, the artwork's always consistent. I try to make sure the artwork always looks like immersive, you get me? Nice and colourful. Don't know, man, I might switch up in the future and do a gothic one, but you never know, innit? But yeah, man, it's different. It's a hard approach because you don't want people to just be like, oh, he got a bit bigger now, and he's just trying to switch up the sound, oh, look, he left grime behind, because it's definitely not that. But at the same time, I want to show people I can do other things. I don't want to be just an MC, I want to be an artist. And, yeah.
I feel like you can see that from, like, to be honest with you, especially for like a grime artist, you've got a very clean, like, you know, discography. Like, as in, you know, it's not like a million mixtapes.
Yeah.
It's like 3 EPs and it's very solid. So,
I have to just, you know why? Because I want to make sure that everything I put out is something. It's not, don't just like, oh, he put out that tape and then it's just got forgotten about in a couple of weeks.
Exactly.
It has to like, bang, it's there. Like, wow, you can keep going back to it. It's good music. Because good music will last regardless, innit? So yeah, man, that's the plan.
Are you thinking album next? Like, what's the next plan?
Yeah, everyone asks me this still. Yeah, I guess that's coming eventually, innit? Soon, in the near future or something. But it's not like, I don't have a set date that I want to put it out. I'm just going to work towards it, and then when it comes, innit? Yeah, man, that's due to be mad. That will be mad still. That's definitely going to be crazy.
You got to at least finish the tour first.
Yeah. Let me finish the tour first. Then we'll think about that still.
But I saw in an interview you said that you're bored of nostalgia.
Yeah. I'm bored of that still. Man. Yeah, I'm bored of that still. The last piece of nostalgia was obviously Thiago Silva, innit?
Yeah.
So Thiago Silva, obviously I thought, me and Dave, let's just show man while go on with this old beat, put a little trap spin on it and just bury it, and then that's it, it's done. Let's move on now. You get me? Man, done that. It's done, innit? Because I feel like a lot of grime MCs are just living off, like, they just quote, alright, cool, you can quote some Dizzy bars and then do your own remix of it, and you can use an old school beat, and then, yeah, okay, great, amazing, but that's getting boring now. Let's make more grime rather than just keep folding back on the old grime, do you get me? Because that's just dead, man. Otherwise, people just think we're just living in the past, you get me? It's not that time still.
I think it's got to the point a little bit where it's like throwback worship. Do you know what
I
mean? It's like
exactly.
People are only excited about things that like they're bringing back rather than creating new stuff. Like,
exactly.
I'm a bit scared because you know it's like a 20-year cycle. Like what is 2000? What are they going to recycle from this era? Because it's all just 90s.
Yes. I don't know. I actually don't know still. I hope, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to pull us out of that quick time so that, like, even a couple of things that I do, yeah, this is irrelevant, but like I put a picture on my Instagram the other day of me wearing Uggs, yeah. And everyone, like, it's just a general taboo that man them shouldn't wear Uggs, innit?
Like,
and then a couple people are like, oh, what's he doing? Like, bare confused people. But bare people are like, yeah, that's hard, yeah. And I knew there was some youths there who proper wanted to wear Uggs, but they was too shook, yeah, because they're registered. But if AJ's doing it, like, you can do it. So I bust the door for them, do you get me? And I see bare man on Twitter like, oh, man them should rock Uggs, man them should. I was just like, bro, you lot can just run with that if you want. But in general, my trend is like, I have the platform to do something that I want to do, and just not, I don't care about what people say, do you get me? So I'll just take the corn for it, and then everyone else can just go and come through the door after. I'll hold the door open and just take the shots to get me.
That's true, but no, it needs to be someone that kind of changes it at least.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying about the sound as well. So obviously I'll push something new. The oldest might not like it. Certain like 140 gram heads might not like it, but cool, it's there and I've done it. And then other people who want to come and add their spin on whatever can do it without taking as much heat. You get me? Yeah, man. It always has to be one person to do it first.
Because I feel like, to be really honest, if you look at the grime scene in the last 10 years, there's not really been enough new people that pop up.
Yeah, it's mad.
Compared to like hip hop in the US, where it's like
there's
15
a new
people
there's a new person like every day.
There's been like over the last like 5 years, I'd say there's maybe 3 names that have kind of come through that are like actually solidly, you know, getting a strong following, and like you know you being one of them. So do you feel that there's like a kind of I don't know. Is it hard to break through because
Really,
there seems
I'll
to
be
be a
honest
real
with you,
gap in the market?
It's very hard, yeah. You know, it's a mix of like, it's not just talent, you know, that's like, okay, cool, I think I'm good at spitting, but there's timing, like my timing was perfect, literally immaculate, so I was just lucky. And then we have like cosigns as well. Like none of the olders wanted to cosign me. Like a lot of them still just think like pretend like I don't exist in it, which is fine. I don't really care in it. I'm 22. I'm gonna be here for a while, so they better just buckle up in it. But the realness is like people like Stormzy, novelist, like them people like from early, they were like novels like, yo, check out this guy, he's gonna be hard. Stormzy, as soon as he heard, man, he was spinning my tunes, like big talk, telling everyone about me. Like he didn't need to, he wasn't my friend, he didn't know me at all, but he just thought, let me just help the scene and help the culture and help my man. Do you get me? So
they're not jealous. They actually see it.
You get me?
All
Exactly.
You guys
It's
together,
a love team.
you know?
Do you get me?
Yeah.
It's meant to be like that. I wish it was like that with everyone because we could all move so much faster. Because in America, imagine that people do collabs, interstate collabs, and they might have beef, but they just do it anyway. Do you get me? It feels like that here. It'll be sick. It'll be so sick. But we're way behind. Do you get me? We're like 4 years behind the US. So it's all mad.
But it's like that interview once Craig David said that in America it's like they applaud you for having a Ferrari and in the UK they hate you, so you should
exactly.
Yeah.
That's real though. That's actually real.
True.
I said on that's real.
Very British like psychology kind of.
Yeah. So like someone said to me before, where was that? It was a joke, yeah. Oh, do you know who it was? It was Posty, yeah. Posty was actually, I was in a club with him for someone's birthday. I forgot who it was. An industry thing, and I don't really like these industry things, but I thought I'm just gonna go to show face, yeah. And instead of my usual tracksuit attire, yeah, I went in like Balenciagas, like I had I don't know, man, some Goyard belt or something, I can't remember. But bare expensive stuff, yeah, which I don't usually wear, but I've had it for ages. It's not new stuff, like it's just because I never go out in it. Came through, yeah, and he was like, "What? So you make grime? Like, why are you wearing that?" Yeah, and I was like, "Because grime MCs are only meant to wear tracksuits and Air Maxes. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's just it's mad." So he was like, "Raw, like you look like a rapper and that." And I was like, "Boy, do you get me? Man, do what I want kind of thing. This is the new one. This is the new stage, innit? Man can wear what they want, spit on whatever beats they want, and it can still be grime. If you want it to be grime, it's grime, innit? It's as real as that. But I want people to just like uplift each other. Because I saw an interview with Rich the Kid, yeah, and he was saying exactly how I feel like. Vlad asked him, what about these olders who say you just do mumble rap and say you're just like not saying anything there? But people are entitled to their opinion, do you get me? Someone could say that I'm not grime and that I'm just begging you or whatever. But the realist is, what you should do is, you can see man getting some love, help me, do you get me, uplift each other, and if you need help at one stage, I can come and give you the help that you showed, man. Do you get me? So that's how I think it should be still.
That's very true. Well, that's why I like it, because you kind of see in the young grime scene, there's a lot of like friendship there. There's a lot of, like you say, you mentioned all of those guys, you know. And I feel like you guys actually are, you know, I feel there is a friendship there. It's not just people doing it just to show face, kind of.
Because there's no point. Because we all knew each other, like, obviously Stormzy's been big in it for a sec, but because most of us knew each other when we wasn't big, we're already cool, do you get me? So it wouldn't be a thing where, I'm just going to big him up because he's big now, or blah, 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 blah. I'm just doing it because I like your sound, or you're cool, and you just deserve a big up, innit? It's as real as that, man. There's people I don't talk to, you'd never know that I don't talk to them, because I still big them up regardless. If people ask me who's doing well, or who helped you, I would still big them up regardless if I don't like them, because they helped me, and that's how life is, that's what happened. So I'm going to say what happened, innit? You got to keep it real. Yeah, man. But definitely think there needs to be more unity.
Well, thank you very much for joining me on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed the latest episode. Thank you for tuning in. Remember to like and subscribe so you can stay up to date with all the new episodes. I have many more interviews for you to check out on my page, so stay up to date and like and subscribe and follow me at Lily Mercer. I'll see you in the future.